Well, I'm sitting here at Otter Pond, 1:45 on Tuesday, October 6th. I'm doing a time lapse of the sky. Neat clouds, wispies are moving in, sort of. And I noticed Suki sitting over there. And I invited her over to come and sit by me so I can put my hand on you. And so I called her over. She happily came over. Didn't want to settle down at all. And when I told her to sit right beside me here, between the tripod and the chair here, she looked around like, and I realized she's gotten that just from this summer. The number of times that I've heard Chuck coming on the ATV or in his truck, or I've heard the UPS guy coming, or seen the FedEx guy coming before Suki did, I would call her over and have her sit. And then she'd learn to look around. Okay, that means somebody's coming. Sit means just that. Now it'll be that way for the rest of her life. When I say sit, she's going to look around for the interloper. Beauty is everywhere. It's simple. And it really is. Some of the most beautiful things in the eye of my beholders. My dad used to call it the majesty of simple things. And we were both talking about the natural world. Like when I photographed yesterday, the close-up of the little tiny strands growing up out of that tree trunk. Beautiful orangey green. It's everywhere if we just settle down to see it. Okay, I'm wondering if the geese are now gone or have left. Don't knock the camera over, Suki. Sitting right there on the little tripod. Well, I've exceeded my 10 minutes, but doesn't matter. A time lapse of 10 minutes can be 1.5 megabytes. And a video of the same length can be gigabyte or more. So I'm wondering if the geese are done. Middle of September, they were flying over every day. Honk, honk, honk. And now I haven't seen or heard of a single one for a few days. This is the spot of land up near the power lines where I cut an oak last summer. Must have been August. I want to see what it looks like in here, as I think I talked about in August when it was in the height of leaves and dense visibility. A couple days ago I went up over the peninsula with the drone. There again, there are a lot of leaves yet. But it was fun to look down. I did a lot of still shots, just sort of mapping out so I can examine them. Fun part about the video, though, as I was flying over, I did not see at the time. There's white-tailed deer down there, flagging their white tails as they run through the random openings through the leaves. Yeah, it's wet. Not alarmingly so, but it would be if I went any further. She's on one of the game trails. And there's the house. It's hard to talk and balance on these hummocks. So sorry if my discourse is a little bit interrupted. Okay. Well, I've explored adequately. Is it ever adequate? No, I want to do more. I was getting ready to feed Suki, and she heard me doing the typical noises. It's incredible how tuned in dogs become to routine sounds that they associate with, in this case, supper time. Oh, I was making coffee, and the sounds of opening the coffee container, getting out the filter, folding it, getting the little 1-cup funnel out. All of those things I just do second nature. I don't think about, but she sure hears at least the sound of the coffee canister opening. She came running out from the living room and was rather alive with eagerness, which I sort of interpreted to pushiness. And when I thought about it, I hadn't thought about all the sounds, because I make those exact same sounds every single morning. And when I get the water boiling, make the sounds of the coffee canister. I don't know what other sounds there were, but they're very distinct to her. And those sounds mean as soon as I make the first pour from the hot water into the funnel, I make the first pour just a little bit to wet the grounds. It's called blooming the grounds. And it occurred to me later, I didn't shoo her out, I didn't shag her away, I didn't yell at her, but I was, come on, you're being rude. it occurred to me later that she is simply responding to the same exact noises that I make in the mornings, which as soon as I do that initial first blooming the grounds for, I then immediately turn, go to her food, have her sit, and she gets to eat. Now, unlike when I make coffee later in the day, that sequence of the first pour and her eating immediately aren't in place. Wow. And I thought about it further and thought, that's how humans relate to that kind of thing, react to a dog being pushy or rude as an intent to be humanly pushy and rude. They don't have any capacity to be that way. They aren't that way. They don't know how to do it. That's not part of their brains. They're not humans. She was just reacting out of excitement because those sounds mean, oh, the food is just about here. Yeah. I felt bad. I felt bad for all the dogs in this world who are misunderstood. And sometimes they're abused, they're hit, they're yelled at, they're threatened, sent away into their kennel because they're being selfish. Dogs don't know how to be selfish. They don't have any of that capacity in their minds. And I know I live in a world where all sorts of evils, intentional evils, are portrayed or committed by ignorant people who just don't understand motivations of dogs. You know, I don't know if you can see this from here. Evergreen tree. Whoops. Short needles. I don't know what that is. I'm considering if it's a white pine, but I guess white pine have 5 needles coming out of one. That has 2 needles on each, which I think that's red pine, but that's not a red pine. Needles are much longer. Look at that. That is a tamarack. All these gold ones out here are tamarack. And they are the last tree to turn color. It's funny, I hadn't even noticed the tamaracks are now in color. Huh. You having fun? I bet you're having fun. I know you're having fun. Okay. Yes, sir. I don't want to go. Sweet little guy. I would halfway consider trying to get this thing. It's too big though. Get it transplanted up into the yard. No, getting it out of here would be killing it for sure. I'm sure it has way deeper roots than I would be able to get out. And look at that. The top is almost empty. Well, let's go this way. Haven't been to this side of the, what do I call this little piece of woods out here? Come up with a name for me. Low and flat. It's dry here. If it's just another 20 feet over it, you can see the land begin to get into the swamp grasses. There's a cutie. Well, now that's interesting. The shape of this leaf tells me that it's bur oak. Very rounded. Come on. Rounded. Not quite as rounded as bur oak I'm used to, but it's certainly more pointed than, I don't know, is this red oak? Would make sense. The color of it is red, very red. I've been reading a book, David McCullough, great history writer, The Path Between the Seas, about the Panama Canal. The first, 50, 75 pages is a real slog to get through because it deals with the early thinking about considering a canal through the Isthmus of Panama or through Nicaragua. They had 5 possible courses of action, and the politics involved and the egos involved and the really inhospitable Panama itself. 100 to 200 inches of rain a year, malaria and yellow fever, which I didn't know much about, yellow fever anyway. The really severe physical limitations to building it through the Panama Isthmus. But I'm enjoying it more and more now as we're moving into first beginning phases of building. There are photographs in there too of, oh my God, cutting the canal cut through 200 feet down through rock and using steam equipment for digging and picks and shovels. It's unfathomable that humans could do that. Anyway, I really enjoyed David McCullough's last book I read by him was Wright Brothers. Fantastic. That was very readable all the way through. So I guess my point is I've been looking forward to, the book is due on October 17th. I'm generously about a fifth of the way into it. I can renew it once, but I've got other books I've been reading, and that book sits out in the living room. It's too heavy to hold in bed. You drop it, you crush your face. I've been looking forward to getting into that this afternoon. Yep, I've got a set of 4 new tires waiting for me. They get installed on Tuesday. I've had this car since June of 2017, and these are Goodyear Assurance all season. They were on the car when I got it. They haven't worn noticeably in the 3 years I've had this car. Granted, I'm not driving as much as I did before retirement, but nonetheless, these tires now are at the point of, I do not want to go through a winter with They're not bald, but they're getting right down there. I don't like driving in the winter anymore well, I don't mind if the roads aren't clear, but when I get into the mailman's been, no, yeah, no, yeah. When I get into driving in, when it's snowing, I gotta have all the traction I can get. There we go. Very, very good. What a relief. I got notified, I think I mentioned that I notified a couple of weeks ago that the voting location here in my township is going to be closed. So they said you can go vote by mail or go into the county auditor, and vote in person there. And I checked it. They're open 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. Well, I was going to do that in a week or two if I hadn't gotten this ballot. There's one other trip I don't have to take to town. Love it. That's it for this time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button. See you next time.